Hey everyone, Andrew here with ACR Protect. Thanks for stopping by. Gonna do something a little bit different. Everyone seems to really enjoy the get home bags and the bug out bags, and I figure why not start sharing that on this channel. I have several acquaintances and friends that are into the same thing. A lot of us in this community know a lot of people that are in it, and so I'd like to bring in my friend George. George, if you want to pop on in here.
That's my cue.
That's your cue. That's your cue. So I've got George here. We're going to go over George's bug out bag and his.
It's not really a bug out bag. This is a crap that I keep in the van and have with me in case I have to get home. Some of the stuff is essential for every day, not necessarily an emergency. And I think you have to, as a prepper or just a person in general that gives a shit about what's going on, be ready for things and nuisances, problems. Take care of the simple stuff first, then worry about making some Gucci bug out bag to take home with you.
Exactly. But in typical ACR Protect fashion, I've got George with me here, and we both have a St. Arnold's Art Car IPA. These come in at 7.1%. Again, no glass. We're going to kind of redneck it here. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Grapefruity.
That's a good one. I noticed on my last video with the plate carrier, I didn't edit it out, but I took a drink and I noticed I had beer in my mustache, and then it flew off. So I'm wondering if that's going to be the case on this one, so I can look like a savage. Yeah, there we just kind of wipe it off. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn the camera around, and we're going to turn it down. We're out on his property. It's kind of windy, and I don't have a mic. I'm not that sophisticated yet, and so we're going to go through. He's got a nice little pointer, so he can kind of point stuff out.
Tactical bamboo pointer.
Tactical bamboo pointer. You got to have that. You got to be cool. So we're going to flip this camera around. We're going to go over some stuff, do a little bit of talking about it, and so stand by. All right, we're back. As you can see, he set all his stuff out here on this nice little tarp so you can kind of see everything, and he'll go through. He's got his little pointer there.
That's part one, is the tarp.
Part one is the tarp. And I'm going to let George take it over. Here you go, sir.
All right, thank you. So yeah, tarp is very important. Get a heavy duty one. Don't get one of them cheap blue ones that's going to rip. You're going to want to have something that you could actually make a litter with if you needed to. Cover, it's a tarp. In addition, you want to probably have some, what do they call them, barrel liners. Barrel liners are great to have. A bunch of different stuff you can do with it. Some of this stuff that's going to get wet. One of the biggest things we have in Houston is the fact that we get flooding and a lot of rain, and that's probably our biggest problem, except for chemical plants and whatnot. But you want to be able to put everything that you want to keep dry in a bag. So have those bags. You might end up just having a bag full of bags, but it's just the way it is. When it comes down to the rain, what I keep in the van, little flotation device. You can use it for a pillow. And if you need to toss it out to somebody who's having problems, there you go. And a rope to tie to it so you can reel them back in. Some other things, if you get stuck, the biggest thing with most of these floods is it's a day or so event and they kind of dissipate. So you're not going to be trying to walk home, and I would recommend not trying to walk home during a flood because you could get swept away. There is that risk, and a lot of people get killed that way, trying to go through water they shouldn't be going through in their car. Just don't do it. Stay home, find a place to bug in, sleep in the car, have some stuff where you're going to be comfortable. I've got a bivy cover. This is a Gore-Tex military style military whoopee. Of course, a jacket, a towel, first aid kit. Some essential things you need to have is have a first aid kit. And I'm not talking about big stickers, I'm talking about Coflex, some things that you need to actually cover up a good sized wound. In addition to that, take some gloves with you. I'm a mechanic, my hands are always tore up. And you don't want to have open wounds while you're trying to do things. You want to be able to cover that up. So you put on your rubber gloves, put on your protective gloves, and have at it. Another thing is we get off the road. If you get into the mud, something like that, probably want to have some sort of recovery equipment. This is a big old, long, heavy-duty tow strap, some smaller straps to put around your axles, some shackles to put that all together into a nice W formation where you can hook to somebody's bumper and hopefully get you out. If you think you're going to get stuck, honestly, I got a 3-ton come along, so I can self-recover, and some straps to put around a tree, something like that. Reflective vest, if you're out in the dark on the road, make yourself visible. Don't be messing around in the dark and get killed, get run over. It happened to a buddy of mine in Germany. He was changing a tire, he got cut in half by an oncoming truck. Everyday stuff, you want to be able to fill up your tires if you've got a little leak. Your TPS sensor goes off because it dropped down to 65 PSI or something like that. You want to be able to pump it up easily. At least turn that alarm off. But you need to fill your tires up. Make sure you have a proper spare tire. Make sure you have the jack to bring up your vehicle. Make sure you have a good lug wrench that has multiple, like one of those 4-ways are perfect because you can use it to help yourself and of course somebody else if they need it, if they don't have one, or they've got a chintzy one where it just doesn't have enough acid to get anything broke loose. Super great idea, a lot of people neglect, is having a fire extinguisher. In addition to, well, on the opposite side of that spectrum, road flares for signaling. You also want to have some fuel with you. I know a lot of people that have problems keeping fuel around. These fuel cans are great, but everybody loses a little donkey dick, so it's impossible to get your fuel in the tank. I've got my little system I use all the time. Clamp that up to the fuel door and just dump it in. I don't even use this part. I mark my cans with when I put the fuel in, and I put a little S on there to let me know that it's stabilized. Let's see what else we got here. Some pry bars. You don't want to be in a wreck and watch somebody burn to death just because you didn't have some pry bars to get them out. Twice since I've been in Houston, I've had to evacuate an area because of a chemical leak. So I've got a mask, 2 sets of filters. Let's see what else didn't I cover here. Life straw, just, I don't know. I threw it in there. I've never used one, but I should. Maybe that for another video. Water bottle. I do keep a case of water in the van at all times. Rotate it out. It will get nasty after a few months. I don't keep any food in the van because I've tried that a bunch of times and it just gets nasty and you can't eat it. Some other perfect things is have something to clean off your hands, have your sun repellent, insect repellent, a way to clean your hands, and you know, with the water you can wash them just fine. See anything else I missed?
You got your hat there.
Well, the hat, I mean, that's just stuff kind of common sense. Sunglasses. This isn't all stuff you're going to take with you if you're going to go home from your vehicle. If you get stuck, stranded, you're going to take little bits and pieces of whatever you think you're going to need. Other than that, leave it in the truck when you start walking. Personal defense device. Make sure you bring with you a way to carry it home. This one has got a little paddle on it. This Safariland group. I've got the SLS system on it. 2 mags. The other one's somewhere else. I don't fill up my mags to capacity because it does weaken the springs. And unless you're constantly rotating out your ammunition, just put it half full. I typically put about 10 in each magazine and leave it at that. But don't just throw it in your glove box without a holster. You don't want to be trying to walk home with this thing hanging out of your back pocket. You're just going to lose it. And number one, don't ever leave it in your car overnight or anywhere else. I guess if you wanted to mount a safe in there or something to keep it protected, do that. But don't ever leave it in your car. I know a lot of people that lose their guns do break-ins.
Completely agree with that. I know a lot of people have like quote unquote truck guns, and hell, I have one. But just as George said, it's one of those things that goes in with me when I start my day and it comes out with me when I leave. I don't care if it's a rifle, a shotgun, a handgun. If you have it in there and someone busts out your windows, you lost a gun and they just gained one. So absolutely, I completely agree on that.
Oh, another thing, footwear. Unless you're wearing shoes typically that you can go home with. Think of your walk, and if you can do that walk with those shoes. If not, keep something in the vehicle that you can switch out. And most of this stuff that if I want to take with me would just go in this big old bag. You don't need a fancy bag. You need a bag that you can carry stuff in, and that's it. Don't need to spend $10,000 on your bag.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's about organization. The bag needs to be able to organize everything. Again, as he said, a lot of this is stuff that's staged in his vehicle already, and just having it all contained so that, you know, when he's ready for it, if he needs it, he has one go-to bag that he grabs and he can start pulling that stuff from it.
That's it, man. Keep some rags. I'll never go anywhere I don't need rags or a towel. You're going to get wet or sweaty here in Houston. You ready for both?
Absolutely. All right, well, we're going to pause here for a second and bring us back on camera. Stand by. So as you can see, he has a little different setup. He has a different vehicle, you know, different items. He has a different knowledge base, and that's what works for him. And that's what it's about. You got to find out what works for you. What works for me may not work for George. What works for George may not work for you. And guess what? It's fine. It's no big deal. And he's right about the bag. You know, when I did my my truck kit or my support kit video, it's in a plastic tote that I got from Walmart. You know, it's just because I have a truck and I have a little roll top lockable cover, and it just stays in there. That's what works for me. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn the camera back down here in just a second, because he's gonna, I guess, are you calling this your everyday carry bag, or what are you calling this?
This is kind of like an EDC. Well, it is an EDC. It's also what I'm going to use to get home. What I don't use, I'm just going to leave in the van, or what I don't think I need. Some of it is superfluous.
Perfect.
It's all about your situation at that moment, whether you're going home for good and you're going to abandon the vehicle, or whether you're just going home because it's broke down, you don't have an alternative.
So we're going to dive into his bag here. I'll turn the camera around. Stand by. Well, of course, as soon as I start this up, the wind just gusts. I literally just waited for it to stop. So, okay, so this video is going a little bit long, which is okay. Some of y'all like the longer videos, which meant we had to pop into the beverage center and get another one. This is the St. Arnold's Amber Ale. You can get this and the other one, the Art Car, actually in a sampler pack. Highly recommended if you're in Texas. I don't think they ship out of Texas. Maybe Louisiana, you might be able to get it over there. But we are battling the wind. So this, like George was saying, this is his EDC / auxiliary / get home bag if he's got to throw stuff in his pack and go. As you can see, the pack is up in the top right corner. It's a 511 Rush 72. I have the same one. I haven't done a video on it. It's a very good bag, but I'm gonna let him take it over, and here we go. It's all you, George, and the tactical bamboo pointer.
Got it. All right, so I told you I carried water in the van. Keep some in your bag too, because as you rotate it out, you might forget to keep some in your bag, and I've been without water and it sucks.
So
other basic
just
things.
chiming in, I'm sorry, George. Again, we are in Houston, Texas. Anyone that's in the South, you know, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, water is your priority. I think George and I will agree on that. If you don't have water, you're not making it anywhere. Prior to this video, we were having a little conversation. It gets hot. It gets hot. Now, George, I know you said you were in the Army and you did serve overseas, Iraq. All right. You can personally give a take. What is worse, the heat in Iraq, or like the humidity and the gunk here in Houston?
I mean, Houston's worse to me. At least in Iraq, you could drink and actually cool off, get in some shade, you'd be all right. But in this humidity, you can't go anywhere to escape it. And you've got to be ready to drink water, otherwise you will cramp up and lose some of your cognitive ability, and you'll just give up. And having hope in a survival situation is almost as important as general fitness. And having water falls into both of those categories.
Absolutely. And again, it's not knocking anyone that lives in the desert climate, because I know trying to find water.
You can dry out bad up north. That's where I grew up I'm a Yankee. I grew up where it was cold and snowy, and you have the same kind of problems. You don't want to drink, but you have to.
Yep. You don't think about it as much because it's not as muggy. So you got to, it's all about what's in your area and what you got to deal with, your environment. Like I said, we're here in the Houston, Texas area. It's hot and muggy, and moreover food. I mean, you still need your calories, but you got to be able to have some standing water ready to go and some ways to procure it. I can't emphasize that enough. I didn't mean to interrupt, George. Please continue on.
In the same vein, you've got to have some electrolytes. It will help you keep you from cramping up.
Which ones are you using there?
I've got Prime. Prime I like. I ran into Hoist. I went to the Tactical Games National Championship last fall here in Florence, Texas, and they were giving these out, and they are fantastic. That whole little baggie there's almost no sugar to it. It's all minerals, and Prime is good. I like Hoist better. And these little packets you get at the dollar store, they're junk. Don't even bother with them. Get some good stuff.
You got to spend some money. I know I've talked about Drip Drop.
A couple, the Liquid IV.
Liquid IV, Drip Drop.
The same thing.
Yeah, same thing. You got to find the flavor that you like, but those hydration multipliers are key. Don't
bring anything with you that you're not going to use or eat or drink. Don't bring nasty stuff because you're just not going to use it. Same, especially when I've got a little snack pack kit here. You got to rotate these out very frequently, otherwise they get nasty. But only get stuff that you're going to eat. If you don't like trail mix, don't bring trail mix. I have a problem with almonds. I don't bring almonds anymore. I don't bring nuts at all, because otherwise I'll be using these things to clean my butt, and I don't like it. So bring stuff that you eat, rotate it out very frequently. You go shopping, buy another little snack kit, eat the other snack kit as a meal, and eat that as a lunch to find out if it's filling enough, if it gives you what you need, if it's palatable. Do it. Anyways, other essentials, if you're going to go home, if you're trying to get home and you don't absolutely know the route you're taking, have navigation equipment with you. I like this GPS. It does not rely on cell phone towers. If the cell phone towers go down, whether it be EMP, just weather, whatever, these rely on this one relies on a satellite. It's also a radio. It's also, you can use these on, I think it's the family band. I think that's what they call it.
What brand is this one again?
This is the Garmin Rhino.
Garmin Rhino.
And
okay.
It has the lithium battery on it, rechargeable lithium battery. But I also bought the pack where you can stick in regular AA's.
Awesome.
And it's a little thicker, but you can use AA's, and of course you can buy rechargeable AA's and go that route with it. Always check your batteries, rotate your batteries. Nothing worse than spending $600 on something and your batteries blow up and ruin the whole damn thing. Batteries. Bring batteries, AA's, AA's, yep. Whatever you're using. Same thing for your phone. Most cases, you're going to be just using your phone to figure things out. Bring a way to recharge your phone. Bring a way that you can plug it into an AC outlet. I've got that in my car. And also this particular, I call this the gangbang. It does USB, 2 different kinds of USB, and also I think an earlier version of the iPhone. But this battery pack will charge my phone twice.
Nice.
First aid. Well, okay. Going back to being in Houston, you're gonna be wet whether it's sweat or rain. I've used these Frog Togs quite a bit. This is a brand new one. I had 2 other ones that I wore for work or whatever for a couple years. They're surprisingly durable. Don't buy a cheap
Amazon.
No, cheap, like go to the dollar. Don't buy them cheap covers, raincoats or something.
The emergency ponchos.
Yeah, you're just gonna be miserable. Yeah, you're just gonna be miserable. Get a legit military poncho to put over. While you have this on, put this on over you and your rucksack when you're going home.
And those Frog Togs, those are available on Amazon, Walmart, Academy, Dick's, wherever you're going. And they're is that the jacket and pants?
This is just the jacket.
Just the jacket. I want to say it's less than $15.
Yeah.
And it's good. Like you said, it's good. I think it's underrated. Everyone wants to go with the cool guy stuff. Sometimes the affordable stuff just works.
Right. Extra protective gloves. I went with these kind of gloves here. These work real well when things are wet. I think they're called some kind of grip, gator grip or something like that.
They have that rubberized fingers.
Rubberized.
Yeah.
They work great when your hands are wet. And once again, Houston, you're going to be wet. Regular mechanics gloves, they're awesome. Slim fit. You got to be able to clean your hands, clean your butt. First aid kit here. I've got an Israeli bandage. I've got this quick clot trauma kit. I don't know much about these. Would love to hear some comments about them, whether they're worth it or not. And of course, some Coflex, vet wrap, whatever you want to call
Ace
it.
bandage, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is it sticks on either side.
Yeah,
So it works out
yeah.
perfect. Bandana, spare socks, binos. You want to be able to look around a little bit. Sometimes you just don't have, you can't see everything you need to see, and it's better to avoid a situation if possible. These give you a good opportunity. Of course, we talk about, if you always try to carry a map, and always make sure that it's either laminated or one of these where it's the individual cities for your. This is Texas. I mean, it's a big map, but it does break down the individual cities, and it is waterproof. You can write on it. You know, just don't carry a paper map in your bag. That's kind of silly.
Paper maps suck.
Right. Write in the Rain notebook. I think this is one of the ones. The Write in the Rain pen.
Okay.
I do have a Sharpie lighter. I carry a Swiss Army knife. You've got, well, for me, the coolest thing is the tweezers. The thing I've used the most out of this is the tweezers and the can opener. The blade's okay. It's fair. You can make tinder with it.
I'll tell you right now, when you're walking around, those tweezers, I know, and I've said this before, when we go camping with my boys, I have one son that always finds splinters and the other one that always finds ants. And so having a pair of tweezers, can't tell you enough. Yep.
Well, me, it's always metal chips.
Metal chips, yep.
Oh, the other thing about, we talk about you have to have a knife too. This is, I got
Come
this
down a
while I
little
was in
bit.
the Army.
There we go. Okay.
This is the Gerber 06 automatic. I think you can only get these if you're military or police, something like that. But I've had this since 06, and you can tell it's seen some wear, but I have it every day.
Yeah, there we go.
It's fantastic. It's the sturdiest folding knife I've ever had.
Check your local laws for those. I know I've shown some OTFs on my channel. Same go for the side discharge. Some states don't allow those. Texas, we're pretty privileged. You can walk around with a damn samurai sword if you want. But yeah, good quality blade.
Another thing that I keep, is that good? Box cutter. Allegedly, you can take over a plane with these. We're going to leave it at that. But you can make tinder, you can skin game with these, whatever you want to do. It's a razor blade.
And they're cheap. You can find those anywhere. It just holds the little razor blades, like you said.
Yeah.
And they're always sharp.
Seatbelt cutter.
Seatbelt, yep.
So if you can get find the ones where you can have extra blades in it, you can go with that. If you're a smoker, quit. Please, for the love of God and your family, quit smoking. But in emergency situations, one thing that's really cool and one thing that I've had experienced a bunch is people are dying for a cigarette. And this is a good way to make friends and acquaintances.
That's a bartering tool.
Yeah, barter.
Yeah.
And a spare lighter. I don't carry a flint. It's silly. I'm not going to be trying to fucking Boy Scout it.
If you need to start a fire, do it the fastest way possible.
Right,
You've got a lighter.
Got 2 or 3 or 4 lighters on me. Oh, fire starting. Here we have a fantastic medicinal and fire starting aid right here. A bottle of Everclear. It relieves stress. You can start a fire with it, and you can jump your car with it.
And you can drink it.
Right.
It tastes like shit, but you can drink it.
I would try to avoid drinking it at all possible. It's disgusting, but yeah, whatever. And some more stuff to have with you. Painkiller's great. I don't get much further than that as far as what I'm going to bring with me for a day or two. Painkiller is something that you should have. You can, under stressful situations, you just start aching in weird places and you lose your will, and it puts you in a bad mood, gets you depressed, makes you irritable, and that goes with the same with food. If you're probably not going to want to eat in a stressful situation, but you absolutely should. Having low blood sugar messes with your reasoning, so don't let it happen to you. Tools, okay. Everyone likes multi-tools. I think they're useless. I've never had a good reason to have one. The tools are subpar. The Gerber ones in particular, if it slips, you smash the skin on your hand and get blisters. To me, they're just useless. I'd rather have a decent set of tools where I can actually do something. Here I can fix some wires, small screwdrivers. I think this is 4-way, two small straights and 2 small Phillips. This, I think they call it 8-way. It's got the nut drivers on both ways, up to 5/16. Vice grips, you can do a whole lot of stuff with vice grips, way more than you can with like a Silcock key, which I think are ridiculous anyways. I can't think of a situation where I'd ever need a Silcock key. The water coming out of a building, well, it's probably going to be used up by the occupants. Then you're going to be standing there doing something obviously nefarious, and someone's just going to shoot you in the back while you're trying to steal water. So anyways, but you can smash off a lot of the locks with these jaws. This one in particular has the anvil cutter in the back, which I really like. You can cut barbed wire with these, and I've done it. It works fantastic. Gorilla tape, obvious uses, 550 cord. What am I missing? Oh, this is a handy little, flashlight and a self-defense tool. Definitely recommend getting a mag light where you can just use as a bat if nothing else. Sure, they're heavy. And of course, keep track of your batteries. These things are miserable. When the batteries get stuck in there, they're
tough to get out.
They're really hard to get out. So keep an eye on that. Use it, rotate it out. Saw.
Folding saw, yeah.
For sawing.
Yeah, obvious things.
What am I?
Yeah.
Am I missing the cash? Okay, cash.
Yep, got the cash. I mean, if you want to forget about it, I'll take it off your hands.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Okay, all right.
This one. So, smaller bills. There's a few $100s here. The smaller bills is important because if the credit card systems goes down, most places don't keep a lot of cash in the registers, or their safe could be locked out because of the power outage, so they can't get change. At least here, you've got some change where you can get some things, and you're not going to get ripped off by not surrendering your change or whatever the situation may be.
It's $10. You only have a 20, and now you lost $10.
Yeah, I mean, in Iraq, you could buy a $100 bill, which nobody could make change for. You could buy a $100 bill for $80 in small bills. So
wow, yeah,
that happened. I did that quite a bit.
And it's not always the bartering thing. Sometimes it's just good to have cash. If the credit card systems don't work and you are at a place where, if you don't have to sleep under the stars and you can stay in a hotel, why not? And so if you have enough cash, $100, couple $100 to do that. Sometimes it's not always about roughing it.
Right, during an emergency, a hotel, because of the occupancy, there might be just only a big suite available. They can't run your credit card. You got to pay $300 a night, or you've got to fill up your vehicle to get home, and you've got to buy food, something like that. So minimum $400.
Yeah.
What else am I forgetting here? Oh,
you got your tarp there that was flying away at the beginning here.
Yeah. This is a nice, handy little tarp, reflective on the inside. It's a what do you call that? Ripstop. It's lightweight, but a place to keep warm, place to
1,000 times better than a Mylar blanket.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make nearly as much noise.
Right. Those little cheap blankets, don't even mess with them. Don't bother with them. Get yourself something a little decent.
I think you covered everything. The other light, you got your headlamp.
Hands-free light is very useful. You can get the ones where they're a lantern style. You can clip them to your chest or your bag or whatever. Those are great. Headlights, great. Headlights kind of suck because whenever you're trying to talk to somebody, you're going to be looking right at blast them in the face with the light. Everyone hates that, but that could work to your advantage.
Yep. And then right above that, you had your eye protection / sunglasses.
Oh, yeah. Sunglasses. Those are also critical, especially out here. These are just safety glasses, but I'll tell you what, they are 99.9% UVA, B and C protection. $3. They're UVEX. You can take them to a range. They're proper eye protection.
The Ziploc bag right above the tools. Did you go over that? To the right.
This?
No, one more over.
That's the battery for the phone.
Battery for the phone. Yep, he did go over that.
Yeah, we did go over that.
My apologies.
No problem.
I think that's it.
P51.
Oh. Come down. There we go.
Yeah, P51. P51 is the big brother of the P38.
And way better. Not that the small one doesn't work, but it's a hell of a lot easier to use the bigger one. So, all right, we're gonna pause here. We're gonna bring it back up, kind of close it out. So stand by. All right. Well, George finally got to crack his second beer because he's doing all the talking.
Getting dried out over here.
I've been milking mine. This was an easy day for me. So again, thank you for coming on. I think it's good. I think it's good that.
No, it's cool. I want some feedback.
Yeah. Please put some stuff in the comments. I think it's good to share our stuff. You can look and search get home bags and bug out bags and all that stuff on YouTube and find a ton of stuff. And that's great. And some of it's good and some of it's not. And you can get some takeaways from all of it. But like I said at the beginning, I think this is going to be a little series that I'm going to try to do with some other acquaintances just to see what else they have. Because I'll tell you right now, I've got some ideas from this. I think I want to buy one of those GPS things that he was talking about, the Garmin Rhino.
Yeah, Garmin Rhino.
That's going to be a little bit more expensive of a purchase, but I think it's good. So
it's an alternative to the cell phone.
Exactly.
It really is.
Exactly.
And especially, and another part of the GPS is if you want to get away from your cell phone sometimes and just take a hike in the woods, you can take that little thing. It's not going to be pinging on you. Nobody's going to call you. And you can watch your tracks. You can keep track of your trails, your distances, all of that. And I don't know if I mentioned it has a weather radio and alerts, emergency alerts, if you want to have that on there, I believe. So it's super cool for that. And of course, take your kit out for a walk. Take it to a park. Go to a park. You join a hiking club. I've done that before. I've taken this kit. I've gone for. People look at me weird and was like, this is just a 6-mile hike. Why do you got that big bag? I said, because I'm trying out the bag. See how it fits. See if I got too much stuff, too little stuff.
Find out those rub points.
Accessibility of the items. One thing that I had that was really driving me crazy on one of the hikes I had is I had my water bottle, but I couldn't get to it, or I found it was slapping against me. So I had to come up with a different way. That's kind of trivial, but you learn things like that. If you just keep your bag in your vehicle or in the house and you never use it, never try it, it's useless to you.
You got to train. All this is with training. We were talking about, we're out here on his property, and he has a pretty big area to mow that he does with his push mower. And you've seen part of my yard. I have a decent sized yard. I will throw on my pack and I'll mow with it. It's an easy workout. Well, it's not easy. It's an easy thing to do. And I can do it around my house, and I get about 12,000 steps walking with that on there. And then I do my weed eating and all that other stuff, and it gets you crouching and moving around and doing some different stuff. So you got to train with your gear. If you just buy, like he said at the beginning of the video, a Gucci bag and then just leave it in your car, it's useless. It's useless if you don't train with your gear. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, George. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Y'all take care. Until next time. Thanks.